Namaskar.
Namaskar to all. Pleasure to hear all the stories, and I would like to share some stories because I was blessed to go to India and be in Ananda Marga working for the last days of Baba's life. And first, I'll tell you how I got there because that was a bit of a mystery. I went to the sectorial retreat, my first ever sectorial retreat in America in Ananda Kanan, and Didi Ananda Mitra and Dada Vimalashananda came and started talking about Ananda Nagar. And Ananda Nagar is the city of bliss, and it is the most blissful place. It's the best place if you ever get a chance to go to do sadhana. So she was telling about this project that she was working on called the Wisdom Project for women. It was working with women and children. And I am sitting in the back because I was brand new. I'm sitting in the back and there were a couple hundred people, and I'm listening to this. And everything she said kind of touched me because it was what was about planting trees, and I had worked for the Forest Service, and it was about working with children, and I'd done that in Africa for the UN. So everything she talked about just struck me, and I'm just sitting in the back crying and crying and crying, and not really knowing why I'm crying, but it was this feeling like, okay, I got to go there. This is really, everything I've done so far is meant for me to go there. But I was actually supposed to ride my bicycle around the world with some friends. So we'd been saving money and getting ready and all this stuff. And I realized, wow, all of that saving, all that being prepared was actually to go to India. But I was saying, Baba, do you really want me to go? I said to Baba, we were doing kirtan around and around in a big Dharma Chakra hall, all dark, few candles. I say, Baba, okay, if you really want me to go, you better shed a little light on the subject. When I say this in my mind, all the lights in the Dharma Chakra flash on. I said, okay, Baba, I'm going. So I went off with the Giridhar and Dhruva to India, brought my 18-speed mountain bike, and went off to Ananda Nagar. And when I got to Ananda Nagar, it is a city of bliss, but also blisters. At that time, there was really nothing there, But I was living there with one Didi, one LFT, and a few children in Umanivas. It's called the Home of the Universal Mother. And I was living there. And the most exciting time was when Baba would come. Okay. When Baba would come, he mostly lived in Calcutta, but when he would come, it'd be so exciting. It would be like a hurricane's coming. Everybody would start getting prepared and people start working day and night, and they would start bringing the workers in on trucks, from the local village and putting lights up so they could work like day and night. And it was so exciting. And then finally Baba came. Now I thought I had a garland, and I thought, well, I really want to give Baba a garland, of all these flowers. So I was so excited. And I was staying there at Baba's house waiting, and Baba came. But they said, no, you're not a Didi. At this point, I was just, an LFT. No, you can't give it. Okay, Didi has to give it. And Didi was like, I don't have a garland. I said, okay, you give my garland. So she gave my garland to Baba. So I was very, very, very happy that she gave my garland to Baba. Next part of that story is when Baba's there, everybody wants to see Baba. Such an attractive personality. Everybody wants to be close. So everybody's hanging out just in front of Baba's house. And they're singing kirtan, and they're singing bhajans, but if you work there, you're working because you're hoping Baba's going to come see your project, and you want it to be as nice as possible. And we were building a well in Umanivas, and we were building a little clinic for women and children. So I was really busy, though. I was thinking, I really want to see Baba. No, I have to work. I really want to see Baba. So anyway, when I came home from work one day, I decided I should work at Umanivas. I came running home. I took my bath, and I went running down to Baba's house. And just as I got to the corner where there's something called the Cheap Hostel, where the kids that go to school there live. And there's another thing called the Berlin House, that's where all the people from Berlin sector and all the Didis would stay. So just as I get to this corner, all of a sudden, here comes Baba's car. And I'm at this little roundabout. It's not very big, and he comes straight up. And the driver stops the car. And he gives me this big namaskar. And again, I was in total bliss. I looked around when you drove off and I thought, yeah, it was me. He was, it was me. There's nobody else here. And it also gave me the message that, in this mission, if you do his work, he blesses you, you know? And that's how he said to get him is do my work, be part of my mission, you know? So I got my namaskar, but then Baba was there. So I really wanted to see Baba up close. Okay. Very hard to see Baba up close because everybody wanted to see Baba. I'm sure a lot of these stories, told how everybody wanted to see Baba. So I thought, oh, good. They're having a meeting of Amrit and Amritel. Okay. So this is the Ananda Marga Universal Relief Team, people doing work. And I thought, okay, great. I can go to that. So I go into the garden, which is also a place that I've been working because we were planting roses and things. Once a week, I would go to Bokar, the nearby town, by the train at 4:00 in the afternoon, pick out roses, bring them back, sleep in the train station, and next 4:00 in the morning, bring them back and plant roses all week. So it was lovely. And I thought, okay, great. This is where I'm going to get to see Baba. So I'm standing there, and Dada Vishrupananda, he's in charge of Amrit globally. He's there taking people's names, and he writes down my name. He said, okay, you can see Baba. Wow, fantastic. Okay. But what happened is we waited. Baba didn't take reporting that day. Okay. They say, come back tomorrow. So come back tomorrow, standing there. Now Aditi's taking the names. Okay. So she's writing down everybody's name and she looks at me and says, you're not going to see Baba. I'm shocked. Why am I not? What did I do wrong? I had no idea, but I was not going to see Baba. And she gave me my own personal BSS guard who are, to guard me and says, don't let her see Baba. And I was just, again, totally clashed. Why? Here I am, why? So anyway, just as I'm done, but I thought out loud, I'm standing around. Just then, GS calls me and he starts asking me about solar because at that time we were trying to get solar panels for Ananda Nagar because there was no electricity. There was, it was very poor at that time. And solar panels for Baba's house in Delhi. So he had called me and we were discussing. And then I came back and I'm standing at the bottom and there's steps going up to Baba's house. Right? I'm standing at the bottom. And this nurse from America, Vijaya Lakshmi, she was a Mexican-American woman who was lovely. She did so much service. She said to me, where did you go? And I said, GS was asking me about solar. And she said, the source of the sun is up here. Do not leave. So she gave me a lot of encouragement, even though I had my guard and I had this Didi, determined not for me to see Baba. And I was very determined to see Baba. So what happened is all of a sudden the door opened and all the people at the top of the stairs went running in. And just at that moment, VSS guard disappears, Didi disappears, and I'm the last person up the steps. But the way it was that door was in the front. So everybody that went in first got pushed to the back. It was like the last will be first and the first, first will be last and the last will be first. So I was right at the front. I was like, wow, aren't I lucky? So I sit down, and Baba's very close, he's on his cot. And I was just so happy being near that presence, so close. So I'm sitting there. And then all of a sudden, they say, Baba's going to ask a question. And they say to me, stand up. Okay, so I stand up. Now I'm in front of Baba, And what am I going to do? I'm just looking at Baba. And Baba says, what are you going to do? Ananda Nagar has 55 villages. What are you going to do for the women and children in these 55 villages? And when I looked into Baba's eyes, I was lost. It was like being drowned in the universe or something. I was just gone. I felt like I was being sucked in the cosmos. And I, of all people, couldn't say a word. I couldn't say anything. I was just, now there are people down below you, they're pulling on you, say something, they're pulling on you, sorry, say something. And I still couldn't. And they said, come on, say something. So finally I said, solar cookers, we'll give them solar cookers. Because that's all, solar was the only thing that came in my mind. And I said, well, would be okay, he said. But he said, feeding them something nutritious, some nutritious food would be good, like Horlicks. Now, Horlicks is a nutritional drink in India. He said, that would be very good. And I was just in total bliss. And I just sat down and was, couldn't say anything more. But that is very helpful for me when I do my sadhana, that remembering Baba and remembering just going into the cosmos. In that same meeting, there was somebody else, Baba was telling all the projects we should be doing, you're supposed to help in every situation. So there was one doctor, Dr. Barat, he was from America. And he all of a sudden raised his hands and says, Baba, all those projects, how are we going to get the money? How are we going to get the money? Well, this is something you didn't ask Baba. He told you he gave you the inspiration. He told you what you don't ask, how you get the money. All the Indian daughters, they kind of went white. The blood just went from their face on. They all thought, oh no, he's going to get very angry. He's going to be so upset, that someone asked him, how you get the money. But, Dr. Barat was very childlike. He was a doctor, but he was very sincere, And Baba looked at him and he said, you just do the work and the money will come. And I think that was a very important thing in my life now as an acharya. You realize you just do the work and Baba, the money will come. And Dr. Barat then went off and he started he was a kidney doctor, a dialysis clinic, worth millions of dollars in Texas, because you just do the work and the money will come. Now, another story that I'd like to share was also how Baba just saved us. And I was living at Ananda. Marga, and Didi Mitra would come on occasion. She was more working in Calcutta, and she would come to see how the project was and everything. But she had been really sick. She was coughing a lot, coughing all the time. Finally, this one day I'm in Ananda Marga. They come running and say, she's passed out at the train station. We have to get a vehicle. We have to go pick her up. She just passed out. So we go and we go to the train station with a vehicle. We pick her up, and there she is. She's looking terrible. And I said, Didi, you have to try and find out what this is. You have to get medical treatment. You're in terrible shape. No, I can't. I'm busy with the work. I can't do this. I can't do that. So at that point, I tried my best. And then I finally said to Baba, okay, you have to do something. I can't do anything about this situation. You have to do something. She's not listening to me, Sometimes acharyas are a little bit hard-headed and they don't listen to people who are their goods. But anyway, so I said, Baba, you have to do something. So, as I said, I lived in Ananda Marga, but the blessing was that every Saturday, I would hop on the train Saturday night and take the train all night. And I'd arrive in Calcutta in the morning. And then Sunday, Baba gave darshan, so you get to see Baba when he's been sick. But so many people wanted to see him. So we would always go very early, like 3 hours early. And she would always have some work. Someone was talking about, Krishna Sevananda was talking about the key and being locked out at the gate. There was a gate, there was a guard, it was locked. But she was very good. She was one of the best jnani, karmi, bhakti yogas I knew. All kinds, she was very smart, but devotee. So she knew how to get in the gate. She was doing some work. She'd talk. I have to talk to one of the dadas. We'd get through. She'd do her work. Then we'd sit and we'd wait for Baba. So now we're waiting. She would sit right up front. I sit behind. So now Baba comes in. Okay. And everybody, the thing is, you're sitting there peacefully and everything. And when the gate opens, wow, people push, they shove. It's like, I thought, wow, it's amazing. They would push you down because they want to get to Baba. And you have to understand, India, space is not personal space. It's collective space. We're all moving together, samaj. So you're sitting here, you've got your big collective space, and then someone's sitting on your lap, and someone's sitting on your knees, and someone, because everybody wants to be so close. So I'm sitting there, the whole crowd comes in, I've been to this drill, I practice it, no problem, doesn't affect me. Now Baba, we start singing Prabhat Sangeet like we do, before Dharma Chakra. And Baba's sitting there listening to Prabhat Sangeet, and he's got his fingers like this, okay? And I see him kind of scanning the audience. He starts over here, and he's just kind of going like this with his fingers. And when he gets right to Didi, there's like this blast of energy. And I'm behind her, I can feel it. She can totally feel it. And she just like drops to the ground, falls backwards, and starts crying in samadhi. And I felt it too. And then she never coughed another day. She was totally cured by this. And one of the questions was, like, how did she get this? This was another story, very interesting story. What happened is, one of the presidents from West Africa, he was a Margi. And he had flown to someplace in the East, I think it was Korea or someplace on business. And on the way back, he decided, I'm going to go see my guru. He lives in Calcutta. Let's land, So his private plane lands in Calcutta. Okay. And when he gets off the plane, the wow, President, what are you doing? Why'd you come? We didn't know you were coming. Where, and he said, I'm going to see my guru. And they said, no. We can't give you security for that. We don't know. No, impossible. We can't provide the security. You can't go. He was so disappointed. He was so upset. They put him in the Great Eastern Hotel, which is in downtown Calcutta. Okay. And he was holed up there. So what had happened is Baba sent Didi Mitra with a message to him. Okay. And she said that that's where it was really cold. It was really hot outside and really cold inside, and the fans and things like that. And she felt like she got some disease from there. But what the message was is Baba said, don't worry, I'm really sorry we can't meet, but I'll always be with you. I'll always support you. And you'll see that everything always happens for the best. So anyway, he was still a bit distraught, but he cut his trip short, flew back to West Africa. And when he got back to his country, the army was fermenting a coup. So he got back just before he no longer had a country. He was blessed to get back because Baba had sent him, back to his own country. So I guess that the feeling is that Baba is always with you and will help you in whenever and whatever, and you never know when, but you're guaranteed that he's always with you. So it was such a blessing for me to be in Ananda Nagar and be there for the last days of Baba's physical life in India.
Baba Nama